Changes that need to be made to the minutes is submitted. Need a motion for approval, please.
I'll make a motion.
Have a motion from trustee Carter,
Second.
second from trustee Cumming. All those in favor of approving the Board of Trustees minutes for the January 7th, 2014 meeting as submitted, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, please say no. Thank you. The ayes have it. Board has approved the minutes for the January 7th, 2014 Board of Trustees meeting. Next is the approval of the executive session minutes for the January 7th, 2014 meeting, and I need a motion for approval, please.
I'll make a motion.
Have a motion from trustee Carter,
Second.
second from trustee Cumming. All those in favor of approving the executive session minutes for the January 7th, 2014 meeting, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, please say no. Thank you. The ayes have it, and the board has approved the executive session minutes for January 7th, 2014 as well. Next up, correspondence, and that will be presented by our village clerk, Shauna Musselman.
All right, I have one letter this evening. It is from the Washington Fire Department, and it reads as follows. It's dated January 9th, 2014, addressed to Mayor Mark Allen and members of the village board. On behalf of all members of the Washington Fire Department, I would like to take this opportunity to thank you and your community for the support given during the days, weeks following the tornado of November 17th, 2013. Specifically, I would like to thank you for the response and service offered by the members of your fire department. During that time, we received assistance from 49 different fire departments, 8 career and 41 volunteer, from 7 different counties using nearly 800 firefighters to help maintain the safety in our community. As you can imagine, the time immediately after the tornado struck our community was chaotic. The Peoria Heights Fire Department was called and responded early on in the event, assisting with the search and rescue operations as needed. In addition, members of the Peoria Heights Fire Department stood by at our fire station for several shifts following the event, ready to assist and respond to emergencies as needed. A special thank you to Chief Walters for his invaluable assistance in our fire department's command post, which became known as our war room. Chief Walters played an integral role in the establishment of the command post for the fire department, which was put in place and used from the day immediately following the tornado until fire department operations returned to normal, approximately 2 weeks later. In addition, Chief Walters and the crew on the initial response played an important role in the initial search and rescue operations at the Georgetown Commons apartment complex, which had been leveled. Once again, on behalf of all of the members of the Washington Fire Department, please accept our heartfelt appreciation for the assistance you gave during this time. With gratitude, Mike Vaughn, Fire Chief, City of Washington.
Thank you. No announcements tonight, so we'll move to trustee reports. Chief, anything ambulance-wise?
No report tonight, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Superintendent Reddig, any news?
None whatsoever.
Nice job on the plowing, I will say that, though. Mr. Administrator, anything administration personnel?
Just forthcoming under new business, Mr. Mayor. Nothing else tonight.
Okay, thank you. Economic Development, Village Improvements, Trustee Carter?
Thank you. I have nothing at this time.
Thank you very much. Police Department, Trustee Cumming?
Thank you, Mayor Allen. You know I've always got an announcement or two to make.
Thank you.
First one, my usual one, next Monday night, the 27th at 6:30 will be our next neighborhood watch meeting, take place right up here at Village Hall. If you have any police or code enforcement issues in your neighborhood, please come up and share them with us. We're excited about kicking off 2014 and increasing the ranks of the neighborhood watch, and we'd appreciate the citizens coming out and supporting the group. I'd also like to announce that on Friday, February 21st, from 5 to 8 p.m., the Peoria Heights Police Benevolent number 76 will be hosting their annual Chili Supper fundraiser. It's going to take place at the Peoria Heights Grade School cafeteria. So if you're familiar with where Peoria Heights Grade School is, on Glen Avenue, down by the high school, please go down and park around the backside down the hill. That's the closest location and parking lot to the cafeteria. It's going to be $6 for adults, all you can eat chili. It's going to include chili, a hot dog, some crackers, and that's going to be provided by TNT's, but $6 for adults, $3 for kids 12 and under. Again, all you can eat. There's going to be a fun zone for the kids. in the gymnasium. They're going to have some bouncy houses in there, face painting, balloon animals, anything that anyone 12 and under would love to attend and participate in. And there are also going to be raffle prizes and silent auction available. So please come out on Friday, February 21st from 5 to 8 and support the Peoria Heights Police Benevolent.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you, Trustee Cumming. Any questions at all for Trustee Cumming? All right, thank you again. Building maintenance with Trustee Gett.
Thank you, Mayor Allen. I have nothing to report at this time.
Thank you. And we will close out with the Fire Department, Trustee Gett.
Second verse.
Same as the first, okay. Thank you very much. Comments from the audience? If anyone has a comment or a concern or a question, please come up to the village lectern and give us your name and address.
Brad Nauman. I'm at 4108 North Monroe. I was at a meeting last week with the Peoria Park District Administrator Fick was there as well. Since that meeting, I've received a lot of calls from area businesses trying to put bike racks into their areas. At this time, there's no known code or piece of paper I can give these people as to where they can put them. And I'm considered a supplier of these bike racks. So before giving them to them, I want to get the village behind some sort of plan so they're not put all over the place without any uniformity. I feel like this is the first step in many to get the city to be more aware of the oncoming traffic we'll get throughout the year as the trail gets completed. And while there's a big project ahead, that this is a small task that a lot of these business owners see as the first step for them to get new business people, new clients. And if they put a bike rack right in front of their business and it's blocking sidewalk traffic, that's an issue. So I just want to introduce myself. I've given the correct people, I hope, my information. And from there, I can provide details on best practices, cities that do this very well. And there's a big benefit to communities that really embrace all forms of pedestrian traffic. And with the trail basically cutting right through here, there is a great opportunity here. So,
Yeah, I think, Brad, we've checked into putting bike racks in, along our sidewalks, and to my knowledge to date, we haven't found a spot where we can put them because our sidewalks are so narrow. And about the only spot I think there might be an opportunity is a corner where the old the old Pabst office building is at. We might have enough room there to slide something in. But I know that, trying to think, there were a couple businesses that were looking to put them installed. And we went down there, and the problem is, the length of an average bike is what, about a little over 5 feet?
yeah, it's 5.5 feet.
Yeah, and our sidewalks are about 8.
Right. There actually is a lot of adopted code and planning that's been done by many cities. Chicago has a very brief 2-page plan for bikes to be put onto sidewalks. I printed a couple copies of them out, but not many. And they have a plan for sidewalks that are 10 feet plus and also 7 feet and under. And it just makes the difference between putting the bikes perpendicular to the road versus parallel. And they do address the on-street cafe issue, which we have a lot here. They have all these things printed out and really clear-cut rules as to how to do this and how to do it well. The idea that you have to have a large bike rack in the city really doesn't need to exist. There could be a couple corrals where you would have 10-plus bikes that could park there, but the main goal would be having 2 or 3 bikes that could park, every 100 feet on a sidewalk. And, with a few exceptions, it could be done with 8 bike racks just through the main area from here south to Marietta. I think a good corralling point's the library. The second one would be the Cohen's area. And when we were in this meeting past week, one of the big things that cyclists want is a place to park and a place to wash up, just a bathroom. That's why I asked why you guys came in. My understanding is this building always has a locked, entrance into these private areas, but the public restrooms stay open for the most part. I would propose that you just simply put some sort of trafficking corral towards this location for those people as they come up and down the trail that says restrooms, parking available. It's 0.4 of a mile. For people cycling, it's not far to go. and it's both almost the same distance coming north as it is coming back east. And then you can use the park, which drives people into the area, keeps families in mind, and it kind of solves two of the issues that we have as cyclists when you're trying to go to get dinner. And if you lock your bikes up here, most people would walk happily a block or two down to visit the restaurants. It's not the best idea, but in place of putting them on the sidewalks, it's a good idea to start with. So
Brad, can you put something together?
I can. I would need help with it in terms of just getting what you guys would want, what the city would want to do. You know, if it was, personally, I think paint, anytime you're redoing the roadway, this road, both north through this intersection and going on to, I can't think what this road is here, it's a preferred bike network. If you look at Tri-County Regional Planning Commission, Prospect as well as Glen, right up to Lions Park is considered a bike route. If we would just put paint and nothing more from the library to here and from Marietta to here on both sides of the road, or even Sharrows, whatever it might be, to encourage bikes to get up to this point, I think you'd see a lot of traffic once that starts.
Yeah, Prospect is a dangerous road, though, for bikers. I don't know why they would put that preferred. That's the beauty of the trail, is that it gets you from point A to point B with it, because, I mean, Prospect is narrow with a lot of traffic on it.
It is, and there's, believe me, I have plenty of ideas on how to make at least the shopping district better for that. I think a lot of the businesses would be behind it as well, but it's more than just paint, and that's something that I'm not an engineer by any means. I literally just study this stuff quite a bit, so.
What about that area down by Heights Bank, that little indentation?
Where we
or
put
is-
that picnic table.
Yeah, that would be a good spot.
How about getting a transportation planner?
Yeah. Yeah, that would be, we do have an area down there by right next to Heights Bank that we just fixed up a few years back, and it
Oh, with the
does.
picnic table
Yeah,
area there?
yeah, that would be a perfect place. Good
What
idea.
about- I thought about, I don't know if we have, I know parking's at a premium on Prospect, but some of those, the ones that are closest to the curb, you know, that are hard to back into, I'm not advocating losing parking, but is there a way to, I don't want to say restripe and create a space in some of those really hard places to park that you can put the bike racks there?
Probably not, because we'll have business owners up here with torches if we take any.
Not
Well,
if
I think
it's for
that's the
customers.
first step, is that, you know, being that I've received these calls, literally, we had a publication, or in the paper last week, it listed myself as a place to get these bike racks. And I've had 4 businesses here in the Heights call me in 6 days.
Yeah.
So it's not that they don't want to encourage this, it's a matter of doing it correctly. You know, before I brought up the idea that we have all these bump outs along this road, and we have a lot of these striped non-parking areas because of sightline visibility. You know, and the reason that we can't put bike racks right next to these bump outs, because they have these hashed lines, is because when you're looking up the hill, you can't see oncoming traffic. I suggested that's a great place for a bike, because you can see through them for the most part. They're not as tall as a vehicle, they're not as deep as a vehicle. You can tuck them against the curb and make it work and get 8 bikes in that one spot. And if you did that, it would go over very well, and the business would have nothing to gripe about, because it's not big enough for a car, and by code, it can't allow a car in it. So, you know, there's ways around this. There's, you know, the idea of trying to get people to park a bike in these big areas and then try to force them up into the shopping districts. You know, when you have a guy that's parking right out in front of gyms or Public House or 7 or any of those places, count the people that come out of those cars. It's not much more than 2. You can get 16 bikes in one parking spot. So if you can convince them on the busiest days where they have people out on their sidewalks, that they can get just a quarter of those filled, they're already 2 people ahead than having a car there. So it's not, you know, the math does work in their favor. There's plenty of support of this. If they talk to any of these communities that have these trails through there, they can see there's money to be made there. The people that ride bikes, they have money. They're not without licenses. They're not, you know, people that are going to be their only form of transportation. The groups that I'm involved with, I mean, we're talking about career professionals that ride bikes for fun, that as soon as the trail gets done, they want to start all the way out by Dunlap and ride downtown, but we don't want them to skip the Heights. So.
We don't want them to either, so.
You know, I'd be
Well,
really
that
interested
place,
to see what Chicago has in place, that their plan for that. I mean, that sounds incredible because, you know, when you're talking about space issues, now, can we like photocopy this, or is this ours?
That is readily available at that
Okay.
link. That is their two-page plan for a business that wants to and applies for a bike rack in their location. And, you know, Peoria is very far behind in this movement. You know, 5 years ago, when I started doing this, there was 2 of us. Now there's 6. But I came to you guys 3 years ago and said, hey, be ahead, get ready for this. And now it's like we're behind it and nothing's planned. I know there's been a lot of money allocated for implements to improve cycling throughout here. I don't want to see that being wasted. You know, a trailhead that you guys put in the Heights that was funded by public money, it's really easy to do. I mean, all you need is extend a parking lot by 20 spaces and put 2 bathrooms up and you're done. And then a little bit of paint on the roads. Paint's cheap.
I don't think it was that easy, though.
It-
That grant, there's more to that than
No,
just that.
that grant is a whole
That's-
different
Yeah.
can of worms. We do have a bike rack out here now.
I understand that.
And we do have an area down there, like Trustee Getz said, that we can put one in tomorrow if we get one through the.
The library has a bike rack also.
Yeah, so I mean,
What
there,
about that place next to Carlson's? What is that side street? I can't think of the side street name. Is it Cyberline? No.
no,
Duryea. I think they just put new benches in there, or didn't we just do something right there? put
yeah,
a
about
tree or
4 or
something?
5 years ago, we redid that whole thing.
We could put a bike rack there, that would get you closer. I mean, I don't know if we could take a spot, a parking spot.
Well, I think there are spots
There's
where we
places
can
where
work
you
in
can
the bike
bike
racks
racks.
that without causing a whole lot of
Yeah.
problems. And if you've got bike racks available to sell.
You know, Smith Drug sits back enough, you probably, if you get permission from them, to put something there. Now, they sit back off the road more than other businesses do. There's another spot right there, I mean,
Well, let's take a look at those, and you and I can talk. I know you sent me an email, I haven't had a chance to get back to you yet, but, you know, we can discuss it, and there's probably some planning and maybe some
absolutely.
field work we need to do to kind of,
Yeah, it's not something I know is going to get solved, I just want to put the
Right.
idea in there that, you know,
And
that,
you talked about putting signs up, I think that's a good idea.
I think the,
At the
something down there
trail,
at
at
Heritage
least-
Square.
right. I think
You
the
know, there's
hurdles,
something
that-
down there at Heritage Square, you know,
I
so
think
they
the-
actually do some kind of development.
the signage that should be in place was approved before and has been taken down. It's not hard to get those signs back. I think the hurdles we talk about with having parking on the road and the idea that you can't have parking on our sidewalks from Marietta to this road needs to be put aside, because anywhere you can put a bench, you can get 2 bikes. If you're putting benches on your sidewalks, you have plenty of room for bikes.
But the benches that we have on the sidewalks, the bench I was talking about, isn't on the main drag, it's off on the side road.
That's
Which
the-
actually is a bigger sidewalk. So it's not, I'm not talking about the sidewalks where you just walk down here. This is on the side, which gives you a wider sidewalk. That's where I'm thinking.
I understand that.
And as far as the signs go, I think if we could get the Park District, you said that there was already signs up and they were taken down? Where
There's-
were the signs?
In the early 90s, the entire bike map of Peoria was plotted out and signs were put up. There's a map that exists that is currently not being supported or printed that we've marked in the last 10 years. Every missing sign that was once up that's been taken down. And along here, there's quite a few of them. They're just simple bike route maps. Now, to make it better, you would put bike route and put an arrow that says business district. And just doing that and having a relative idea of how long it takes you to get there encourages traffic into your area, which makes your businesses more profitable.
Yeah.
And believe me, I run a business for a living. I know this works. So this is one step. I'm going to try to talk to the Chamber of Commerce and get some support from there as well. But I really do think that the city needs to get behind this, where we stop thinking that for some reason these sidewalks can't have anything but people walking on them, and these parking spaces can't have anything but cars in them. Because not just my generation, but a lot of people want to walk and ride bikes to places. We're not just driving.
Well, again, we have areas out there that we can do without putting them on the sidewalk. That's why I was saying. We do have a spot there that is perfect to put a bike rack in. It's off the sidewalk, but it's right next to the sidewalk. It's right by the Heights Bank. So there's an area we could put a big one in. So there are areas we can check out, and if you've got a bike rack or plans or whatever that I can't visualize where you can put a bike rack on an 8-foot wide sidewalk to where it doesn't interfere with foot traffic, but that's because I've never been involved in it. So that's why I'm saying, if you've got plans or you've got a photo or just show us how it's done, we'll be more than happy to look at it.
Yeah, I'll try to arrange a meeting and we'll go from there.
Okay.
Yes, I think, with the trail now coming to fruition and being connected, that it's going to present us as a municipality with a whole new set of opportunities that are based out of that trail. And, this is definitely one of them. And it's just getting in the habit of thinking of those terms and getting some reps and thinking, okay, what can we do to enhance the trail? What can we do to, support the people that are utilizing the trail? And at the same time, also help support the village and our financial situation as well.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for letting me set eyes on that. I appreciate it.
Any other comments from the audience? Okay, then no old business tonight, so we'll move right to new business. And first up is Resolution 2014-01. It's authorizing the village to appoint Kyle Smith as Assistant Superintendent of Public Works. We have a 3-page resolution, which will be available for anybody to look at here at Village Hall. But the gist of it is that Mr. Kyle Smith will be appointed by the board to serve as the Assistant Superintendent of Public Works. And Mr. Administrator, can you give us a little more background on that?
Certainly, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Steve Reddick here has been filling in admirably in the interim, but his time is limited. I think he has until early March, before he runs up against his number of hours he can work. So we're lucky enough to find someone to come in and take his position. So Kyle will be coming in as the assistant and working under Steve for a period of probably 2 or 3 weeks, thereabouts. And then transitioning from the assistant role to the permanent full-time superintendent role. And we expect Mr. Reddick to mentor Mr. Smith.
He will.
And that to be a smooth transition.
Yes.
Okay. I need a motion for board approval of resolution number 2014-01.
So moved.
Have a motion from trustee Gett,
Second.
second from trustee Cumming. Are there any questions or comments from the board before the board votes? I believe I have to vote on this one, don't I? Yeah. Okay, once again, this is for board approval of resolution 2014-01 to appoint, board approval to appoint Kyle Smith as Assistant Superintendent of Public Works. Madam Clerk, would you please call roll?
Trustee Carter?
Aye.
Mayor Allen?
Aye.
Trustee Gett?
Aye.
Trustee Cumming?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. By a vote of 4-0, the board has approved the resolution 2014-01, appointing Kyle Smith as Assistant Superintendent of Public Works. Congratulations, Kyle. Welcome aboard. And next up will be our treasurer's report, and that will be read by our village clerk, Shauna Musselman.
Okay, this represents the treasurer's report, I can never say that, as represented by our village treasurer, Cliff Brumbaugh, and it represents the bank balances as of December 2013. In the village accounts, the general fund account is $671,659.31. Motor fuel account is $158,640.85. The police drug savings account is $553.19. The tax increment finance account is $20,569.75. And the healthcare flex account is $4,250.31. For a grand total in the village accounts of $855,673.41. In the waterworks accounts, the waterworks is $710,248.12. The service deposit account is $85,277.56. for a grand total in the waterworks accounts of $795,525.68.
Thank you. Are there any questions at all regarding the treasurer's report? Okay, then we will accept it as submitted and read. The next departmental committee meeting will be held Tuesday, January 28th at 6:30 PM. And the next Board of Trustees meeting will be held Tuesday, February 4th at 6:30 PM. And right now, I'm going to ask the board again to make a motion to retire into executive session one more time regarding personnel.
So moved.
Motion from trustee Cumming and a second from trustee Gett. All those in favor of going into executive session at this time regarding personnel, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, please say no. Thank you, the ayes have it. Board will now go into executive session again regarding personnel, and we will return only for the final adjournment, and we thank everyone again for attending.